If you don't have time to grind and you want to buy a stacked account in 2K with max badges, a nice record, and a high overall, hit my man SportsTNB up. His Twitter handle is on the screen, and you can find the link in both the comment section and in the description. Alright, picking right back up where we left off on these unpopular opinion videos about players. Today we're going to do a Kevin Durant edition. That was another one of the popular threads that were floating around the same time that the Kobe Bryant thread was made. And this one was a bit more difficult to do just because a lot of the things that people were saying I would think are more popular opinions. It seems like everyone really has the same ideas about Kevin Durant these days, so I really had to scroll and decipher. And I think I did a pretty good job finding some to react to, so let's go ahead and get into it. The first one says that people are mad because he just want to enjoy basketball. Who wouldn't want to go to a team where you can play the game you love the way it's meant to be played? And yeah, that's definitely unpopular. But it's actually something I said or something I mentioned a long time ago. I actually think it may have been in my first video on Dom 2K where I was talking about why Golden State was the only place that Kevin Durant was ever going to go if he left Oklahoma. And it was because he was in such a good situation in OKC where they weren't that far off from a title. They had work to do, but you know that they could get there. And so I didn't see him going somewhere else like San Antonio or the Clippers where it would be kind of the same thing. Probably a little bit better, but with Golden State on the table, it was this whole idea of you can go play perfect basketball because of the type of players they have, because of the system that they run, but it was also because of something that Kevin Durant said. Apparently, you know, he was craving the whole relationship part of basketball. Having teammates that you love to be around. I remember the summer he got there, he was saying that Golden State had opened his eyes to so much, like he thought he already knew everything about basketball, and he was just talking about how much he learned just from being there during the summer and practicing with him, I guess. So it's one of those things where it just had an enormous price on it. Because when you think about it, you go to this place where you can never lose, the culture is amazing, everybody gets their touches, the system is perfect, the players in it are perfect. It's in California, which is probably a hell of a lot more fun than being in Oklahoma. Like there's just so much stuff like surrounding that situation that was just perfect for him. And basically the price was what other people think about him and probably where they're gonna rank him when his career is done. That's why I always say that everyone should be able to acknowledge that this was a weak move, but also acknowledge that they can understand why he did it. Because when you think of it in terms of like life and basketball, it really was the perfect situation for a superstar player. It's just not one that an ultra competitive player would have taken, you know? Anyways, this next one is bold. This right here says if he wins a ring with the Knicks, he's automatically top 5 all time. Wow, that is very bold. It's bold because I agree that winning a ring with the Knicks would obviously do a lot for his all-time standing. The Knicks haven't won a championship since what? Walt Frazier days, Willis Reed days, oh my goodness. Yeah, they've had it's not just that they haven't won a championship since then, they haven't really been competitive since then. Like I just saw this stat that said, or not a stat, but this fact that said that since the year 2000, they've only won one playoff series. I honestly did not realize that. They made the finals in '99, and the only playoff series they won was against Boston in 2012. Good lord. 2013, I'm sorry. So you go there, which is, it's considered the mecca of basketball. No matter what, it's probably not going to be a team as overpowered as Golden State. Maybe a good team, it would obviously have to be to win a championship, but you can probably never duplicate what you have there in Golden State right now. And especially if you go there and win a championship on your first try. Now, does that make him top 5 all time? Does that just erase everything that happened in this last, 3 seasons? Or really just in 2016 with his decision to do what he did? Does it wipe all that out and catapult him to top 5? I guess that depends where you have him ranked right now, because this is what I was talking about yesterday when I said I had a barbershop talk planned, discussing Kevin Durant's legacy and whether the details of what he did are going to survive enough to keep him out of a top spot. Because at the end of the day, what you will have is one of the most skilled players ever retiring with multiple championships, an MVP, finals MVPs, all kinds of records. So at the surface level, when you have new generations come in who didn't live through what we're living through with him right now, maybe that might help his ranking a bit. And right now, I'm already seeing people saying that Kevin Durant is not that far outside of the top 10. They're saying that for both him and Curry. a lot of people are starting to say, look, he goes to the finals this year, gets his third championship. What if he's finals MVP again? And the way people have been using finals MVP all this time, not only are they extremely valuable to a player's legacy, but it essentially means he was the best player on what we all think is the best team on paper to ever exist. So then people might start sitting down and saying, well, wait, it was weak, but damn, this counts for something. So I'm not sure if that's a popular opinion, that he's already not that far outside of the top 10. I tend to think, based off of the MVP, based off of clearly being one of the best players to ever play this game, just if you watch him, I tend to think that that's probably true. And so get a third championship this year, a third finals MVP, and then go win one in New York. But does that put him in the top 5? I don't have an answer for you, because obviously that's going to vary from person to person. So that's something you can chime in the comment section if you want. But yeah, I would guess that's an unpopular opinion, especially because a lot of people inside their top 5 have guys like Magic Johnson, and Magic is universally beloved for his playing days, not his not his days in the Lakers management that's going on right now. But yeah, Magic is universally loved and looked at as the best point guard ever, and looked at as the guy who came to the Lakers and just transformed everything. So keep that in mind, that you're trying to put Kevin Durant in front of guys like that, and I don't know, man, that gets really tough. That's a bold one. I like that though. For unpopular opinion videos, that's a really good one. Here we have a tweet that says, never seen an athlete more disliked just because he wants to be a winner. And I'm sorry, but to me, this is the ultimate straw man thing that goes on when talking about Kevin Durant, because there are still very strong KD supporters out there. And this is one thing that I see, and to me it's a straw man argument. No one's argument is that the move was weak because he wanted to be a winner. I don't think that's what anybody ever says. See, the problem is Kevin Durant in 2016 could have been a winner in multiple places. The Clippers had an awesome roster just waiting for him, right? The only thing they really didn't have on that roster, because they had already been one of the most talented teams for years in the inside the 2010s. So the only thing they were missing is a guy that you could go give the ball to and could just score at will. So he had a perfect slot waiting for him on the Clippers. The San Antonio Spurs wanted him. Could you have imagined that? KD, Kawhi, LaMarcus Aldridge, that was a good spot for him. He could have went to Boston and Danny Ainge would have surrounded him with some pieces. Like, the man had options to go be a winner, and I don't really need to waste time on the whole spiel about going to Golden State. We all know what happened. But yeah, this is definitely an unpopular opinion, and it's a straw man. Not only is it a straw man, but people displayed the same exact attitude towards LeBron James back in 2010, so yeah, this isn't even true. Oh, I know this is unpopular. This says the 73-9 Warriors was slightly overrated, and Kevin Durant's move isn't as weak as it looked. Ooh, the 73-9 Warriors slightly overrated? No. Is this, see, this is this is what I'm talking about right here. I'm glad this came up though. I'm so happy this came up, because I keep mentioning the Kevin Durant legacy and how new narratives are gonna pop up over time. See, this is what I'm talking about. As more and more time passes, I swear to God, come talk to me in 10 years, and if NBA Twitter is still a thing or whatever new social network has popped up, you're gonna hear things like, oh well, Klay Thompson never led his own team. Klay Thompson wasn't the superstar of his own team. Draymond Green, oh, he wasn't even that good. There are gonna be things that are written to justify what happened in Golden State, and this is one of them. This is a live example in 2019. The 73-9 Warriors. You know, I was, like a lot of people, I was very fascinated with how Curry was playing basketball in 2016. That team was finishing people in 3 quarters. So Steph Curry would have a full day's work done in 3 quarters and he'd be on the bench already. When they were clicking and hot, they were like nothing you'd ever seen, of course, until Kevin Durant went there. So I think the other argument that will be used to justify KD going to Golden State and saying something like the 73-9 Warriors were overrated will be to bring up the fact that they struggled throughout the playoffs. They lost in the finals. And stay on the lookout, because I will probably do a video about this. I've been pushing it off. But I have ways now that I can show through the footage that Steph Curry pre-injury and Steph Curry post-injury was nowhere near the same. So before the ankle and the MCL in the first round against the Rockets, they just did different things. The way they played was different. So be on the lookout, because I am going to show that, and I feel like that is a service to you all, so that history doesn't get rewritten, and so you don't hear things like, oh, that team was actually just overrated. They really weren't. But the other thing that might come of this is they might look and say, well, the 73-9 Warriors actually let go of a lot of players that made up that team, that specific team, to sign Kevin Durant. Maurice Spates left. or maybe he was traded. I don't remember exactly how he left, but he was gone. Harrison Barnes, Andrew Bogut, Leandro Barbosa, like a lot of those guys that were on that team weren't there anymore. To which I would respond, they kept the most important parts. They kept their core. The fact that they added Kevin Durant and kept the entire core, like the two most important bench players in Livingston and Iguodala, and then the core 3 guys from the starting lineup, that's all you needed for Kevin Durant to make them what it really has been. So it may not be totally accurate to say that Kevin Durant joined a 73-9 team because they actually were not the same, but they still hit the jackpot by being able to keep absolutely everybody. So that's how I would respond to that. Here we have that it's hard to call him the best player in the league when he's clearly not even the most valuable on his team. Well, first of all, I'm not sure if people think KD is the best player in the league right now. I know a lot of people have replaced LeBron this year because right now he's not the best player in the NBA this season, but I still don't think people have KD as the best player in the league yet. But that's less of the part that I'm interested in. That's not really what I'm interested in here. The second part that says he's not the most valuable on his team, that's an actual debate. I constantly see that, people trying to debate who's better for the team, Steph Curry or Kevin Durant. I'm not sure about the popularity of the takes, but I thought it was pretty clear that Steph Curry is the most valuable player to the Warriors. To me, the better debate is about like who's the better player, Curry or Kevin Durant. That's the one that makes a little bit more sense, because if you talk about in terms of value, Curry just makes that entire thing work. His gravity, his floor spreading ability, the way he moves off the ball, that opens up the game for everybody, including Kevin Durant. Makes the game easier for everybody on the floor, and that's such a big part of their system. The fact that you have a player as good as him that can be used as a decoy sometimes. And of course it's tough to gauge value on a team where you could lose one of like any of those guys and they could probably still be called favorites to win the championship, right? Because if you lost Curry, between Durant, Thompson, Clay, and Draymond Green, I'm pretty sure they can still get it done. If you lose Kevin Durant, we actually just saw that. That was one of the most depressing parts of this season, was watching the Rockets game the other night where Kevin Durant sat out and they just stopped Houston's winning streak still because DeMarcus Cousins just took all of his touches and had the best game for him of this season. So yeah, you could lose probably one of any of those guys and still win, so that always makes value hard to judge. But because of what Curry does for that system and how the Warriors have basically designed the whole system around him since Steve Kerr came in, yeah, I would say Curry is the most valuable. But see, that's the thing though. Value and best are two different debates. Whoever you think is the best player in the league today, whatever. But the argument can't be that, oh, KD's not the most valuable player on the Golden State Warriors, so he can't be the best player in the league. Two different conversations. Value has to do with how you fit your role on a team. Steph Curry's role just happens to be probably a little bit more important on that Warriors team than Kevin Durant's. This one's probably a shot at some people. If KD joined your favorite team, you wouldn't be calling him a snake. Well, you can go through all my videos, you can parse everything. I've never once called him a snake because I don't really go after players in that manner. But yeah, this is still a straw man, because if he had went anywhere except Golden State, then there would have never been a reason for people to be mad at him, because then he would have just done what a normal free agent did. But going to the team you just lost to, like, come on now, I think you know that this is a straw man. Very few people are mad at him just for leaving OKC. Stars leave their host team all the time. This one was fun because it really made me think. It says that Kevin Durant will go down as the greatest player to never be the best player in the league. He could finish top 12 all time, but there will never be a year while he is playing that he's considered the best player in the league. So we can talk about the future in a moment, but that's interesting because has Kevin Durant ever been considered unanimously the best player in the league like LeBron has or like Kobe was at one time? Has Kevin Durant ever just flat out had that title of he's the best player in the game? The only year that I can think of that I unanimously thought that was 2014. When Westbrook went down and I saw Kevin Durant do everything for the team, and I thought they were going to fall off, but they still stayed pretty high in a very competitive Western Conference. That year I thought he could have been called the best player in the league, but again, a lot of people disagreed, so no, it was not a unanimous title. And that's why this is an interesting point, because aside from 2014, I don't have a year where it was like, yeah, KD's just better. He's better than LeBron. He's the best player in the league. Even right now, he's in that debate to me, but it's definitely not unanimous. It's actually very ambiguous to who's the best player in the league right now. Some would say Giannis, some would say Harden, and yeah, some would say KD. But he's right, so far he doesn't just have that title for everybody. And whether he can get that title is, get that title unanimously, it's kind of difficult because first of all, you just have a lot of people who are never going to give him that title while he's playing in Golden State. And then it still very much depends on age and what happens with LeBron. Because if LeBron comes back, like I said, he's not washed by any means right now. He comes back next season, and let's say the Lakers do get somebody and now they're back in contention, and LeBron is still doing what he's been doing for the last few years. That might be another year of him being called the best in the league, and it will still depend on where Kevin Durant is. Is he still on Golden State? Is he doing his own thing now on the Knicks or somewhere else? And he's already in his 30s too, so the fact that he hasn't had that title yet and his 20s are already over, he's already 10 years plus into his career, this might stand. Maybe Kevin Durant will never have that title because now he's in his 30s again, and we have a lot of questions about what's going to happen in the future. Meanwhile, you got a guy like Giannis who look like he is poised to take over that title. He's in the perfect position. He's got everything going. He's got his own team. He's got an opportunity this year to do something amazing. So yeah, very interesting point. And now that I think about it, I don't know that it's unpopular because, like I said, it's been the popular thing to never have called him the best player in the league. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and end today's episode because the last two that I have here pretty much cover the same things I've already went over. No reason to be redundant. So hit the like button, comment, and sub if you enjoyed, and hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications on future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.